The Department of Justice, under order of congressional subpoena, has now begun releasing documents from the Epstein files to the House Oversight Committee. We don't know what's in those files yet. The committee will review the documents before they release anything publicly. We do have more information today about the highly unusual and many legal experts say entirely inappropriate interview of Epstein co-conspirator Ghislaine Maxwell by the Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, who also happens to be Donald Trump's personal defense attorney. The DOJ released transcripts and audio of that interview last night. And wouldn't you know, when asked about Epstein's relationship with the president, Maxwell, who's been actively campaigning for a pardon and who was granted limited immunity in exchange for her testimony, said that the president was always a gentleman. She's never witnessed Trump in any inappropriate setting.
Trump was always very cordial and very kind to me, and I just want to say that I admire his extraordinary achievement in becoming the president now, and I like him, and I've always liked him. So that is the sum and substance of my entire relationship with him.
It's just one big love fest. Joining us now is Democratic Representative of Pennsylvania, Summer Lee. Representative Lee is a member of the Oversight and Reform Committee, and I'm hoping you're going to get more useful information than we got out of that transcript and interview, because what it seemed like to me was not a senior official from the Department of Justice, but Donald Trump's lawyer chatting with this woman to try and find ways to exonerate Donald Trump, who will always remain Todd Blanche's client. Let's just be clear. You're never not somebody's lawyer.
Yeah, I mean, this was entirely predictable. I said it a long time ago. You said it at the beginning of this, segment, right? This is a woman who is fishing for a pardon. She is a convicted sex offender. She's a convicted sex trafficker, and she was a part of the most prolific, largest sex trafficking conspiracy in our nation's history, right? Outside of enslavers. So not shocked that she is singing Donald Trump's praises to get off. I'm also not shocked that the DOJ basically gave us 33,000 pages. Of those 33,000 pages, less than 1,000 contain any new information. So the big update is the obvious, that the DOJ, that Donald Trump's DOJ continues to obstruct justice, that we have to continue to demand full unredacted files if we are serious, if the White House is serious about justice for sexual abuse survivors.
So there are now three tranches of stuff, right? There's the grand jury testimony, which a judge has said nobody can have, and many lawyers have said you're not going to glean much from that. There's this much anticipated interview that we just got released last night, which is exactly what most people thought it was going to be. No meaningful information in there. And then there's these 33,000 pages you have, which there'll probably be more pages to come. But as you mentioned, not a lot of it is new information. But you and your committee and Congress do seem to be the only hope of getting any new or interesting information out of this.
Yeah, I mean, from the subpoena, right? This is them pretending to respond to the subpoena that we successfully got last month. But of course, right, we know that Pam Bondi says she had the full file. She said they exist. She says she has them on her desk. So there's seemingly nothing much that's keeping them from giving us everything. The only things that should be redacted right now are the names of victims or any sort of sexual abuse materials. So this is all a continuation of the conspiracy from Donald Trump and his team to protect billionaires, to protect powerful billionaires, even when they're no longer alive. And right now, there are people who have not faced accountability. There are people at the highest levels of our government, perhaps others, right, that are walking free. And we want to make sure that we are getting all of the information so that we can, of course, get it out to the public, but also so that we can make sure that justice actually prevails for once when it comes to the powerful and the wealthy.
I want to ask you about another conversation. You're outspoken and always have been. There's a lot of discourse going on within the Democratic Party about whether it should be more moderate and centrist versus more progressive. And I'm gleaning that, in fact, the thing that America wants, the thing that those millions of people who went out on No King's Day and the people who go out to these individual marches and the people who go to these town hall meetings and the people who show up at some of the rallies that your colleagues hold, I think they're looking for fighters. More than they care about the specifics of how progressive or how moderate or how centrist you are.
Yeah. Listen, I think the media and the party itself loves this idea that there is a linear sort of ideology, but I think people want a party that meets the moment.
Yep.
I think we want a party that recognizes that we are facing, we say it, unprecedented times, but we don't actually say what those unprecedented times mean for the country, for everybody in it, especially the most marginalized. We're facing authoritarianism, period, point blank, right? We are facing the executive branch overreach, unlike anything we've ever seen. We are facing lawlessness, corruption, obstruction of justice, all of that. And that means that the United States is not impervious to anything that other countries, other democracies that have failed have met. And we want a Democratic Party that recognizes that shows up every day, and that shows other people how to fight. We're not going to win just by elected officials. We know that. But we need elected officials that support our labor movement, that support our outside activism and movements, our college campuses and students who we know throughout history have been on the front lines of any societal change that is meaningful. We need a Democratic Party that knows that taps into that energy, harnesses it, and gets things done.
And yet, on things like campus protests, on things like funding for the government of Israel and what it's doing right now, on things like Zoran Mamdani winning on the basis of the rent being too damn high in New York. Elected Democrats are acting a bit like institutionalists. Don't break the china.
Yeah, and just incredibly wrong for the moment right now. I think that the lesson we missed from last November is that people in America, Democrats, Republicans, independents, people want change. They are struggling. They are suffocating in a system that doesn't see them, or if it does not care. The rent is too damn high. And we have a former mayor of the largest city in the country running a sham campaign about kicking somebody out of rent stabilized apartments. This isn't just about Ron. It's about all of the people who find themselves in positions like him or excited by what he offers. This isn't just about, Omar Fateh in Minnesota, right? This is about the people who showed up. Right? This is almost coming a cycle, right? Young, exciting new people come in with new ideas. It's not just young folks, but people who come with new, exciting ideas, who wake people up, who make people have faith again in the process, and then we get shot down immediately. I think we have to do some serious introspection. We cannot win in the future if we're shrinking our numbers, if we are not appealing to the real swing voters of now, not Democrat to Republican, but Democrat to non-voting, because they know that the system isn't changing at the speed that we need it to.
All right, you got my heart rate up. I'm happy. Thank you for you always bring the thunder to every fight you're in, and I think that's what people are looking for. Democratic Representative of Pennsylvania, Summer Lee.